I want to know from women over 35 if cohabitating with men is really worth it. Like, is that something that I really should be looking forward to in my life? Like, let me...
It all depends on the partner you pick. Now, I am married to an amazing husband. This is Matthew.
Hi.
And we've been married 21 years, and it's been lovely. Was it always lovely? No, because in the beginning of our marriage, growing up in a very Catholic household, I was raised that women take care of everything and do everything. And so after my daughter was born and I was trying to go to school and trying to be a stay-at-home mom and do all the things, it's got to a point where it was exhausting, where I was doing all the cooking, the cleaning, making sure the house was run, all the bills were paid, while doing another job and going to school. And I had a breaking point, and I had to tell my husband, enough is enough. I need you to help out too. I'm working, you're working. You have to help pull your weight. Luckily, I have a good relationship and a good husband, and he was like, oh, duh, oops, sorry, my bad, and he helps me out now. Now, if you have a bad relationship or a bad partner, obviously it's not going to go that way. You really have to talk about these things. I'm a hypnotherapist and a therapy practitioner, and I work with individuals and I work with couples that have been together for years, and one of the biggest things they fight over is domestic labor. So when you get into a relationship, it is imperative that you talk about that kind of stuff. You talk about your beliefs, your values, what you want your daily life to look like, what do you want it to be in 5 years, 10 years, when you retire. All those things are so important to talk about. And like I said, if you find the right person, it's lovely. It's wonderful. I love having my husband in my home. I love cuddling in his arms at night. I love having a partner to help carry the load that life brings you sometimes. I hope that helps. All my love.
It's been said before, but I'll say it again. Marriage isn't really good for women. Women don't benefit from being married to men. The comment section on this video is full of women who say this, happily married here, and I say this without weirdness, but if he dies first, and he knows this, LOL, I will not do it again. So many of the comments came from married women who claim to be happily married, who say they would never choose to live with a man again. And I think this speaks volumes about the dynamics that exist in our culture overall, right? When men get married, they expect their wife to take care of them, to cook for them, to clean for them, to take care of their children, to have children for them, and they go off and work. But in today's world, these women are also working. And so not only are they working full-time, but they are also expected to care for the home and the children and do exponentially more work in the home than their partner. And oftentimes these men have been raised without the information or expectation that they'll take care of the home themselves or take care of the kids. And so even when they try to help, they need a list. They need her to tell him what to do. And it's exhausting for women. It's been shown that marriage isn't actually good for women. Women who are single do better than men. Also, having children isn't really good for women, right? We have the wage gap, the motherhood penalty, and the fact that having children can put women at a higher risk of financial troubles in the future, right? Marrying men, living with men, and having children doesn't quote unquote benefit women in the same way it does men, which is why so many women say they would never do it again. And that's also why so many men remarry so fast.
So I'm a year away from 35, and I lived with a man for 8 years, and all I can say is cohabitating with men is not worth it unless you know when you go over to his own apartment or his own house that he does his own laundry and he takes out his trash and he cleans his house on his own, because otherwise you just become a maid service. And preferably find a man who likes to cook and who is good at it and actually knows good recipes, because sometimes it sucks being the only one cooking. And make sure that the person you're cohabitating with isn't just a grown man-child. So that's who I married.
Okay, so I am 50, so I'm well past the 35 mark. Kids, life, all of those things. I have to say that I have never found that men were worth it. When I look back at my life now, I have never found that there was a time in my life where I can say, God, it was so great that I had a man when I needed him. In fact, I can't think of a single instance. What I can think of is the many, many times that my life would have been made easier not having a man in my life. In fact, some of my more happiest memories of my life is when it was just me and my children and not having to deal with a man. So, up to you.
No. Get a dog. I love dogs.
It's not. Most of the time, and again, this isn't for everyone, but most of the time you're going to end up cleaning up after them nonstop to the point it becomes an expectation. And then your wants and needs get pushed down because unfortunately that's the world we live in. And if you live separately, never, and I repeat, never clean up anything in their home for them. Obviously, if you make a mess, clean it up. Make sure you're not leaving that behind. Do not ever clean for them. They don't deserve that, and trust me, you don't need that hassle in your life. You make sure you take time at your own place. Make sure you take care of yourself. Protect your mental health.
I put on this super pretty filter because my rosacea, my adult acne is like going crazy. I met my husband when I was 35. And yes, I met him online. But it was from an old profile that I'd kind of given up on. And I had put a bunch of information in, like, I love Star Trek, Star Wars, and Lord of the Rings. And I don't understand what all the rivalry is about. It's all fantasy fiction, different types of stuff. And I love all of it. And amid the usual garbage, I just kind of stopped looking at it. And then this guy popped up as 80% 80% compatible, and I didn't think anything of it. But instead of sending me some kind of gross message, he sent me a message that was like, but you like Star Wars the best, right? Because he actually read the profile instead of just being a dude. And that's what you do. You live your life, make yourself happy, and be comfortable with the fact that you might not find the right person. But when you do think you might have the right person, you have to ask yourself this question. Is this person in my life going to improve my life? Or is he going to bring me down? I didn't ask that with my first husband, and I went from having my own place and paying everything for myself to being bankrupt and homeless, and please do not get me started on that. But I was 35 when I met my current husband. We've been together for 10 years, and I'm looking forward to growing old with him. It's something nice to have someone who can, you have the same ideas, you have different hobbies, you work with each other on them, you help each other, you both grow as people together in a relationship, and you work together to create a life. And that's pretty nice. But if it's not right, it's not right. So don't stick to something that you can tell is pulling you down. So I would say, yeah, you could look forward to that, but you also have to be willing to try. Yeah, when I say try, I mean you have to actually be willing to date. And once you do start dating, you will have to run through a couple of jerks before you get the right person. I hope my perspective helped. I really do. From what I could tell, when I started to like myself and not give a shit what people thought, that's when the losers kind of fell away, and I found people who were worth talking to.
Like, seriously, Lovelace, I have been, seeing a lot of this conversation about marriage and who exactly does marriage really benefit. And I was actually thinking to myself that, okay, I think that marriage actually benefits everyone. It all depends on your own perspective of what you see marriage as. As we all know, marriage is an institution that requires, two people who actually becomes one. These two people tend to work in a common goal to achieve a successful companionship and all of that. But on TikTok, there are a lot of rants, going around talking about how most of these marriages actually benefits men and it does not really benefit women. In terms of, women tend to do most of the jobs, take care of the home, take care of kids, and upon all of that, these women are still required to work. These women are still required to go for a 50-50 thing, which is actually not something that is so balancing. So I came across this lady asking the same, question, of which, deep inside of me, I have had multiple of thoughts, multiple of thinking in terms of this marriage thing and who it actually benefit. But with all of the experience, from these women over 35 years, it actually, brings me to a conclusion that I think some marriage actually benefits men the most, especially when you are with a man who is selfish, who does not really understand what it means being a wife, a woman, and a mother. Especially some men who tend to, who refuse to see the handwriting on the wall, who refuse to see that their women actually, needs help. A lot of men often think that when they get married, that means they have someone to take care of them, take care of their house, take care of the kids. Who is not going to take care of the woman? Who is not going to take care of the woman? When you expect this woman to do all of those things, what if she breaks down? And to couple with all of the taking care of, she is still expected to go out and work. So I think to balance a relationship, to balance a successful marriage, if you're a man and your intent is actually to get a woman which you want to spend the rest of your life with, I think it's best you guys have a sit down talk, try to have a plan of how you actually want to run your family. If you will be the financial provider, then she takes care of the home and raise kids and takes care of you as well. And if you still want her to provide for the family, I think there is a way you actually have to do it by also involving yourself in some domestic work, like cleaning of the house, cooking, washing, taking care of kids. All of these kind of jobs is something that everybody should get themselves involved. Gone are those days when women are expected to do everything, take care of kids, run the house, take care of husband. These days, these women work as well, so as the men works as well. Anyway, lovelies, why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please leave your thoughts in the comment section, and I will see you, lovelies, when I upload the next one.